What's going on, guys and girls? It's Ghost Robo. Welcome to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. This past week, I had the incredible, beautiful, amazing opportunity to not only play an hour of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, but also to direct feed capture some of it to bring to your excited eyeballs. This is probably the most incredible Zelda yet, and it quite probably is my game of the show, E3 2016. Right off the bat, I want you guys to know that it not only looks great and looks cool, but it plays just as, or even more impressively than it shows. And that's because straight across the board, they really have leveled the game up in every possible area and avenue that players have wanted, that players have hoped for, that players dreamed of. You know, before E3 started, when we knew we were going to get a chance to see the new Zelda, I was thinking to myself, what will this Zelda be like? What could it have? What do I hope it has? You know, they're talking that it's more open, there's more exploration. What do I want it to have in it? What will it have in it? What won't it have? And, you know, I had sort of a dream list, and then I was like, they probably won't be able to do that. They probably won't pull it off. It probably won't happen. Literally, this game surpasses those dream expectations. Let me just run through some of the things that Breath of the Wild has added or improved to this series. Just the list alone is staggering. So now, Link has full-on jumping, as well as a sprint meter and a stamina meter. Link is able to climb any surface, ascending mountains, enemies, or rocks or trees. He's able to stealth and crouch in a stealth mode to stay out of harm's way. He's able to pick up weapons and protection armor that have stats and attributes. He's able to move anywhere in the world freely, a gigantic open world. At some point, I'll show you the map in this video, and it is freaking insane. Like, literally, the map is crazy. As we enter combat here, Link has a more fluid style of combat. He has a more, a larger arsenal of not only weaponry, but also moves. One move that I don't know if it's in the video or not, he can flip over his enemy and execute a fury attack. He has a parry. It's all very fluid and feels like it's all been brought into 2016, and then, you know, it releases 2017, so 2017, the modern era. Zelda has always been a franchise that excelled at providing excellent gameplay, memorable storytelling, and amazing worlds. And one thing it lacked was that feeling that it was truly a, you know, modern 2015, 2016, 2017, whatever year AAA title. And I feel like the additions here, the upgrades, the modifications, have moved this Zelda into the same realm as any of those other games. Plus, it has the lore, the legend, the history, the nostalgia, and the craftsmanship that makes Nintendo titles special. There is a hot-cold meter for Link. His body will be affected by his surroundings. You can see it in the form of the hot-cold meter on the screen. There's a sound meter. As I run, I make more sound. That's useful when you activate that stealth crouch. You can mark the map. There is hunting. There is cooking. Different things you equip to Link will change his appearance. They will change how he reacts to the world. There are challenges, there's environmental destruction, there's a freaking physics engine in a Legend of Zelda game. You can roll boulders and they will respond as physics should. Later on in this video, you'll get to see me chop a tree and it responds as it should. And that, to me, just, if you ever liked more open-ended games, if you ever were a fan of something like Skyrim or something like Fallout or something, you know, even really any of those style of games, and you're like, I wish that a little bit more of that modern sensibility was brought into Zelda. I mean, check out this freaking map. Look at this. All of this is explorable area, and even within the small subsection that I got to demo within, there was so much variety. You know, there was snowy mountains, there was an icy river, there were plains, there were grasslands, there were castles, there were broken down castles, there were caves. I got to play about the first 30 minutes of the game, and it opens more interestingly than I think any Zelda has. First off, it jumps you straight into the action. They're not pussyfooting around with some long-winded tutorial or slow start. Now, maybe there will be a little more of that as you progress, but it throws you right in, and this game is heavily centered around technology, around tech. So Link kind of wakes up out of cryostasis or cryosleep, and then has this little Sheikah Slate, which is almost like an iPhone or a tablet that he uses to interact with the world and open doors. Also, you can use the Wolf Link amiibo to call in freaking Wolf Link from Twilight Princess and have him be your companion throughout the world, attacking enemies as he sees fit. It's a gorgeous game, and remember, this game is releasing on both Wii U and NX, so I captured and played on Wii U. it looks great. It's going to look even better on an X, which is super exciting because the world functioned, behaved amazingly on this console. I can only imagine how good it will look on the next one. I have to say that the Zelda games were wearing a little bit thin in the tooth, or long in the tooth, I should say, because they were feeling very samey, very similar. And there were talks and discussions of them messing with the formula, modifying how the series played out. Temple of Time, by the way, it's not in very good shape, but you do see some of these creepy crawler guardian type creatures up here that have been long gone, but their remnants remain, and it gives a hint at sort of the world that Link is exploring. Climbing, though, is insane when you're climbing up some of these temples. You can climb up them, down them, no more risks of falling. You can explore anywhere. It's just added so much insane possibility and creativity to the game, and platforming as well, because now Link jumps like a normal person. But back to that, we got to play A Link Between Worlds, and that messed with sort of the order of the dungeons. And the thought was maybe that, Aonuma and Miyamoto and the team at Nintendo would add that to the console version, but they went far above and beyond that. Not only now is there flexibility in the order in which you tackle things, but the entire world has become far more flexible. It's malleable to your own desires, which I think is super interesting. Stuff like this, when did you think you were going to see this in a Nintendo game? Sometimes Nintendo gets criticized for being stuck in the past, and here they combine the best parts of our nostalgic memories with the most epic gameplay mechanics of modern classics. And I think it's going to deliver one of the best experiences of all time. And I know those are big words, and that's a big assumption and assertion, but this game really just blew me away. And I think it blew everyone away. If you saw the lines at E3, they were insanely long. People were waiting 3, 4, 5 hours to demo Zelda. And it's because, first of all, it's the new Legend of Zelda. Second of all, it's all Nintendo was showing. But third, and maybe most importantly, it was getting rave reviews from everyone. It really played well, performed well, and I think collectively, the gaming press, the gaming fans, the gaming industry reacted in a way that said, yes, this is a true evolution and a super exciting sign of what Nintendo may be dipping their toes in going forward. Miyamoto answered some questions about the next Mario and said that he's going to try and show people a little bit of a new Mario in a year or so. So maybe next E3 we get a brand new Mario that isn't fully open world perhaps, or isn't, all sorts of crazy, but maybe it does incorporate some more modern gameplay design elements. Maybe it does really take things and blow them out. Maybe the Mushroom Kingdom is fully explorable. Imagine going from, your Peach's castle over to a giant Boo haunted house, down below to the caves of Wigglers, and then up to the skies and Bowser's flying airship. You'll notice there's a lot of collecting and crafting in this game, so you are gathering a lot of inventory items. And as I move into the cold area here, you'll notice that it says my temperature is getting dangerously low. Find warmth sooner, you'll take damage. So you'll begin to lose hearts because of the cold. So here we get to see the inventory screen. You'll see Link is reacting to that hot-cold temperature meter. And if I put this quilted shirt on, while it does lower my stats for defense, it increases my cold resistance. And now Link is A-okay. I can also eat some spicy peppers that will help him stay warm, as well as other food that will restore my health. Now, that food can be cooked for even greater effectiveness and efficiency, but for now, we are going to find a way across this river. If you climb into the icy waters, you'll notice Link takes very quick damage and bites the dust quickly, so that is not going to work. Swimming here is not an option. The world is much more interactive in that way, not only from a standpoint of how it impacts and affects Link, but also from the way in which you're able to interact. And you'll get to see that in a second as I run back towards the tree that I need to cut down. And I think this is so cool that Link is going to be able to, put himself really anywhere in the world and be at these cool places. I can only imagine climbing up the Goron Mountain stand-in, or whatever the volcano is called in this game, and thinking about how many different environments may be across that giant map is crazy. Because look, again, in that subsection you saw on the pause screen, we're able to venture to a snowy mountain range. We have a Temple of Time broken down. We have some caves. We have grassy plains. There are fields in the early parts of this area where I fought a giant rock golem, and he was almost like a mini-boss. And that was super cool. Now you're seeing some of the rune system, which is another addition here. You have runes, and runes are, I'm guessing, the item stand-in. I don't know if they're going to have a mix of items as well as runes. It seems like it could be the case, but runes produce remote bombs. They produce regular bombs. They have this magnetic charge that allows Link to move metal in the world and really show off that physics engine and how he can sort of manipulate his environment in ways that were previously very scripted. Again, I'll throw on that quilted shirt because I did die and respawn at the nearest checkpoint. You also have seen how he's able to switch weaponry. So you can store multiple weapons and quickly switch between a giant leaf and a sword and an axe. You can switch between better and better bows, and it seems like there will be rewards for side quests, maybe not in the form of some crazy story point, but in the form of a chest that maybe houses a better bow, or who knows what kind of weaponry. My friend Gabe was talking about maybe they'll have you equip the hook shot and things of that nature in those slots. Currently, you have a ranged weapon slot, you have a melee or a a melee weapon slot, and you have a rune slot. You'll see those on the D-pad, left, up, and right. As well as supplementing Link with the Wolf Amiibo, Wolf Link Amiibo, and there's going to be other Amiibos. They already revealed that they're doing a full line of Amiibo for Breath of the Wild, and I think that'll just add more to your arsenal. It seems like they wanted to go bigger and better and more complex and involved in every way while still retaining the charm. It feels like Zelda, and I like the fact that Aonuma said there will be instances where there won't be anything in the world, and getting lost is sort of a critical aspect of the game. That's something that Zelda had back in the NES era, and something that they wanted to bring back into the game, the exploration of it, the adventure of it. Miyamoto created The Legend of Zelda. His impetus was his love of adventuring, and this game finally embodies that in a full 3D, fully physics-based, fully realized and interactable world that the NES Zelda, the original, tried to do, but with far less of a tool set, far less of horsepower, far less resources, and now they're able to do things like chop down trees and watch the leaves fall off, roll it over towards this barrier and use it as a bridge that would not have been possible in any previous Zelda. When I spoke to Mr. Miyamoto, if you haven't seen that video, you definitely should check it out. It was so much fun and such an honor. He said that he loves the fact that he was able to finally realize this in a 3D space, the adventuring and the sort of exploration and inquisitive nature of the first Legend of Zelda that was flat in 2D, now in a fully 3D beautiful world with so many options. And as we climb on this log, we'll crouch for better stability and move towards the other side. I can only imagine how much the world will really open up once you venture beyond sort of the starting zone. There was even talks that you don't have to beat the entire story to beat the game, that you potentially can just go to the final boss if you're ready and fight him. I don't know how that'll work. I don't know how that even makes sense, but it's cool to see that they're not only incorporating physics and weapons and stats and an open world and a beautiful, gorgeous range of biomes and environments, but also they're adding in sort of that flexibility of structure. So it's not truly open world in the sense of, there's going to be a bunch of side missions and driving around, but it is the most expansive adventure yet. And one thing that Nintendo made sure to point out is that this is a game about action-adventure. It's not open world in the sense that you come to know, where you're going from A to B and then B to A and then A to B and collecting this and collecting that. It's much more about your experience as Link and really just having a blast in this world and discovering it, which I think is so cool. And I love how many different weapons there are right off the bat. I can't even imagine what kinds of weapons you'll get from dungeons. That stamina meter is going to limit my ability to climb that wall. So you are limited in terms of where you can get if you want to climb a sheer surface. But I wouldn't be surprised if eventually there's potions to increase your stamina, maybe some sort of tunic or boot. And here you'll see we're picking up some better weaponry, a cave of chests here, and it makes exploration really rewarding, the fact that you do have so many equipable categories. You've got the melee, you've got the range, you've got the runes, so finding things and then modifiers for said things like these fire arrows here increase your desire to explore. And that's something that I feel a lot of open world games lately have struggled with, is like, what is the reward at the end of the tunnel? And in a game like Dark Souls, the reward is usually better because you get something like a new weapon you can use. And there's a physical connection between you and said weapon. But when the game is a little bit more static and when the combat isn't as fluid and it isn't as direct, those things become just numbers on a sheet. Here, the fact that they've retained the Zelda combat style and amped it up to something closer like Dark Souls. Not as complex, not as challenging, but in more of that action-adventure vein. Now the rewards in these chests, the reason for exploring, besides the beautiful views and sort of the fun nature of it, because it controls amazingly. I don't know what kind of voodoo magic they put into their control schemes, but whatever Nintendo does, like, I want that for whenever I eventually make a game. And I'm sure every company is jonesing for that juice, because they do a fantastic job of making the hands-on experience so fun. Fire will react. Obviously here it's freezing, so it's not going to do much, but if you're in a grassy, brushy area with burnt out grass, you're able to sort of light that stuff on fire. And I love the fact that I can swap between these weapons, because they will break. There is durability. And even just from some of the effects there, like Link getting frozen, knocked over, you can see how this has just been upgraded in every way. It's the largest team Nintendo's ever had working on a game. It's taken a long time to make this game, and normally I'm a huge just advocate for no delays, get the game out. This is one of those rare times where I feel the game is so impressive, even right off the bat, that the delays were worth it. And I genuinely loved my time with the game. I genuinely loved everything I played. I was expecting to go in there and be impressed and have fun, but I was not expecting to be blown away. And sort of to close things out here, I'll show you one of the fun things that you can do in Breath of the Wild, and that's shield surfing. Just the fact, again, that they've added so much to truly modernize Link, to truly advance him beyond the structure and the style we're used to, but still making sure it has the fun, the polish, and the charm that we've always come to know and love from The Legend of Zelda. So as the sun sets, you'll see the day-to-night cycle. You'll get to see a gorgeous view from the top of this mountain. I'll help you reach the vista with me. I bow down to Nintendo for doing an absolutely insane job on Breath of the Wild. I can't wait to see what it looks like on NX. I can't wait to play it. Hopefully it doesn't get delayed again. March, please come quick, and please deliver us that new console and this glorious new Zelda. I loved it. I want to know what you guys think in the comments down below. I can't think of anything negative to say. I thought about what were the faults, what were the flaws, what could have been better, but like the fact that they took every category and raised the bar just really won me over completely. And like I said, I've had some issues with the recent Zeldas, but this one somehow just does it all. So I can't wait to play it. I hope you guys enjoyed this direct feed. Check out the Miyamoto video. That was so much fun. This was so much fun. And I love you guys and can't wait to bring you even more fun. So until next time, everyone, thanks so much for watching. Fantastic day. Drink some hot chocolate. Hit that thumbs up button if you enjoyed. And until next time, we will see you all later.